Hey,
Hey, that's James's voice.
I'm back.
James back
JB is back.
from
Hey, do you guys know that one episode of Family Guy? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. All love Harrison. Thanks for filling in for me, man.
Yeah, he was great. His phone could have been better, but he
Oh yeah,
was great. You just
it would have been
We've all
worse
got
if I
some better
Skyped you
equipment
guys.
now, man.
get that volume up. That's all I could say.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. When I was gone, I had shitty internet, so I guess I could have Skyped you guys, but it probably would have sounded even worse than Harrison's phone.
you never know, but this week we may sound different.
Special shout out.
Different. Special shout out to
To
loyal
other
listener, and relatively good employee. He's a good employee right
Oh,
there.
he's great, man.
Yeah,
It's the dude right there.
James, and I'm just gonna call him K. James
Yeah.
K.
Yeah,
He knows who he is,
there's plenty of James K's out there.
and he said, "You guys sound terrible," and he gave us mics.
And now we sound a little bit less terrible.
Now we sound beautiful,
We'll have to throw him in the credits for
You've
lead
always
sound
done-
producer.
right? So James is on vacay. He went to Rehoboth.
More Bethany Beach,
Rehoboth.
but when I was going there, I thought it was Rehoboth, but apparently Bethany Beach is like just south of it.
That's like telling your kids, "We're going to Ocean City," and you go to Chincoteague instead.
Oof.
Yeah.
I stayed at Assateague once, and that was beautiful. It was a
Yeah.
great camping trip,
A lot
except
of
for there
horses.
was a lot of. So I was neutral about horses going into that trip, and I left not liking them. Also, a lot of things associated with horses, like they're giant shits everywhere,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
horseflies. Horseflies are honestly the worst bugs ever because we would douse ourselves in bug spray, and horseflies didn't give a fuck.
They're like, "Fuck that! I'm biting this motherfucker."
Oh, so we're just drowning in this gross bug spray and still getting bitten by horseflies. But, it was really pretty at night. There was no like light pollution or anything. So I saw probably more shooting stars that night than I ever have.
Nice.
Shooting star,
It's cool. It's cool.
no matter who you are.
And the wild horses, I guess, are majestic and stuff. I don't know. Someone would probably, love that.
Well, since James, you missed last week.
Yeah, it was a good
we got
episode.
Missed the
We got
gorilla.
we got to talk about some crazy times at the theater.
I heard.
And you were like, "Yeah, missed that."
Well,
And you, sir, you have many years. You have
I-
many years in the service.
I think just in general with last week's episode, I missed out. It was first missed episode. So, I'm like listening to it and I'm like, wait, I want to say something, and it's like, nah, this was recorded yesterday.
Sir,
But,
well, this is your opportunity.
yeah, so the question was it's like, what's the craziest thing you ever seen in a movie theater? And then it ended up just going into like, what, tell me about all the times you've seen someone doing it in a movie theater.
Right. It was a lot of poop.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I remember one other story about that too. So I had one for each of those topics. The one time I walked in on people doing it, and I mean I've had a couple like weird encounters where like I think they were about to, but they didn't do anything. But this one time I was like gonna leave work, and it was when we still did theater checks. So we would like walked into every theater, stamped off a little card saying we looked in there, and I was just about to leave. It's like 10 o'clock. And, right before I leave, one of the managers there, he's like, hey, did you do all the theater checks? And I had done none for the day. I was maybe done one. I don't know. I did a bad job that day.
Because they're a waste of time.
Yeah, some people took it more seriously than others, but really it wasn't a big deal. But, I was asked directly to do it, so I was like, sure, I'll go do this theater check before I leave. And I make my way around, and I get over to Theater 7, and I don't remember what was playing in there, but I just remember seeing a couple. They were the only ones in the theater. They looked up at me at like a deer in headlights, and the lady was on her knees in front of the dude. And I don't really care. Like, I'm just like, look, I'm about to go home. Like, I don't even feel like dealing with this. Like, I'm just trying to wrap up my night here.
It's time to go.
Yeah. So like, I see it. I'm like shocked to see it, but at the same time, like, my face doesn't show it. I literally just walk straight ahead, right off my card, and walk out without even making eye contact with him. I think all I did was I was literally just like visibly just shaking my head.
Right.
I was SMHing at him. Yeah, like when I was walking back up, she was like sitting on his lap, trying to hide his junk or whatever. And I was just like, I don't even care. Like I gave him the SMH. They saw. I walked right out. I finished the last 2 theaters. I told everyone at the theater, like, they were like, "Oh, dude, I'm gonna go check it out." And I was like, "That's great. I'm leaving."
And James walked out the back door, and a huge explosion.
Oh yeah, there was an explosion, all right.
Oh yes.
I don't know. I hope not.
All over
Actually,
the seat.
yeah, people sitting there quite frequently. So
now, was this?
I hope
was
they were.
this in the? Was this in the? What theater was this?
7, I think. 7 or 8, but I'm pretty sure it was 7.
Do you know what movie it was playing?
No, I couldn't tell you. It was something that wasn't too much of a mood killer. I don't know. I feel like I would have remembered that, but I don't know. I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even remember what year it was when it happened. But yeah, no, that was just my reaction. I just literally I was just like, I do not got time for this shit. Like to myself, so,
right?
Shook my head and just walked out. Didn't even make eye contact with them, and they were so like embarrassed or whatever. Like they just like looking at me like horrified, and I visibly just did not give a fuck.
Carry on.
And then I just left. I told everyone there, and they're like, "Oh, dude, let me see."
Did they all start running? Yeah, they all start running.
I think they ran up to the projection booth and they wanted to like peek in through the top hole, which I guess is more discreet, but it's still weird. And
I mean, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, it's discreet at least, I guess. But I don't know. That's what they make porn for.
I mean, that's what they make bedrooms for.
Yeah, like I don't need to watch like 2 people doing it, like
bars and darkened alleys.
Like especially in a public place, like they're like I hate how a movie theater is like considered like a place where it's like, ooh, it's like a kinky spot to spend time with your date or whatever.
It's dark.
Like that's it's like a taboo thing. And
it's dark, and a lot of times there's just bullshit going on the screen.
Yeah, it's like, so if they're in there by themselves, like I imagine they think they have this great sense of privacy, and I'm like thinking, having all of us, working at a movie theater, like I think you're pretty sure that there is not a lot of privacy in there. Like,
right.
Someone could walk in at any moment. Like someone could buy a ticket late. You never know. Like it's like
I will say this: if this is your plan of getting hanky panky, the best time to do it would be the late shows on like a Monday.
That's kind of what it was, though. It was like a late show on like a weekday, and we don't do theater checks anymore.
Then you
at the time
had a manager who was overzealous of theater checks.
They were a cool manager. I don't want to name names, but he was cool. I just he liked to do his job and stuff, and that was what was expected at the time.
How dare he? Want to do his job?
So, I mean, I was a little peeved at him, but like it was. But yeah, on to poop, right?
On to poop.
So I did not see a guy literally poop in the lobby.
Okay.
But I watched it on camera an hour after I got into work. So I arrived at the perfect time because they had just cleaned it up. So it was like I come into work and everyone's huddled around the computer at the front desk. And they're obviously all watching some camera footage, and I was like, ooh, let me see. And yeah, like they're like, this guy just pooped in the lobby, and I was like, what? And you find out it's like this super old guy. You're like, oh, well, that's just kind of sad. That's not that crazy, but it's like it was kind of a weird footage. Like he came out of the theater. I guess he really had to take a dump. He takes one, so many people have a hard time finding the bathroom at our theater. I don't know why. I guess we work there every day, so we know where it is, like right off the bat. But a lot of people are asking us, oh, where's the bathroom? So this, 90-year-old plus man doesn't know where the bathroom is, and he doesn't find it. He doesn't ask anyone. He's just like, oh God, I don't know what the bathroom is. He probably walks out, like, I think it was like theater 4, and he walks like probably over, maybe 15 feet by the butter stand or whatever. And he like looks around back and forth, and he panics, dude. He goes right back towards the theater, and he stands in the corner, like outside the door, like so, like in the corner of the wall in the door frame.
Yeah.
He literally like is like looking down with like, I guess, this look of shame, because I would too, honestly.
Let's be honest, yeah.
And looking back on it, I feel bad for him. I realize older people have a hard time controlling their bowels and stuff. I saw it.
It's true.
Things I don't want to think about.
Yeah, it happens, man. It's not like they are really doing it on purpose.
Right.
So he looks down. He's all, oh man, it's gonna happen, dude. And like, I think that's when it happened. I think that's when he shit his pants. And then he's like, dude, he's like, dude, I can't just go back into the theater. Like, he's like, I gotta give this bathroom thing another try. So then he starts walking towards the bathroom, and he starts figuring it out, and poop starts leaking out of his pants. Just little poops, like nothing crazy, nothing huge, just like these little fucking poops just dribbling out of his pants, dude, as he fucking finally makes it to the bathroom.
So gross.
And yeah, I saw, that's basically all they showed me on camera. And I saw it, like an hour later, after someone had already cleaned it up, and
so
they were
did he
all
go back into
down.
his theater, or did he just leave?
See, I don't know. I didn't, because like
I'd be in
like
the
an hour.
car.
It was like an hour before I got there,
Right.
so I only saw the footage of him like going to the bathroom. I didn't really see the guy, so maybe he left, or I don't know. But,
I'd go directly to my car. I'd say I'm not speaking to anyone till I get home and get in the shower.
But like that's kind of what I was saying. It's like, are they even aware that they poop themselves? I don't know.
Oh, he's aware.
Yeah.
He was aware.
Yeah, he did have that look of shame on him.
He knew it happened.
Like the fucking dog who pooped inside or something,
He knew it happened, man.
But yeah. But so luckily someone already cleaned it up, and I went about my day as normal. I got a nice old laugh out of that. I can't say I've seen that happen again.
Right.
So.
I've seen plenty of that sort of stuff. More than I could ever need in my lifetime.
So I don't know. Is it that crazy? No, but I mean, to walk into your shift and have everyone be like, "Yo, someone just pooped in the lobby."
Right.
Like, oh shit.
Yeah, I mean, like
it just went down.
I had a story with what was it? We had 2 movies playing in the same theater, and this is back when we had film, so it wasn't digital. And so the wrong movie got threaded through the projector and started. And it was supposed to be Wallace and Gromit: Curse of the Were-Rabbit.
Ooh.
And what got started instead was Saw 2.
Oh no.
Okay.
And parents were complaining during the trailers. They were like, these trailers don't seem to fit a kid's movie. And no one said anything. No one noticed anything necessarily wrong. And we gave them like the usual thing. We were like, look, we don't pick what we put on. We just put whatever the studio tells us to put on the movie. We put on the movie. We don't really have any say. Until Saw 2 started, and they made it 5 minutes in, and I don't know if you guys have seen Saw 2, but the first 5 minutes, a guy.
Oh, that scene's intense.
Yeah, a guy digs a key out of the back of his eye. Yeah,
so his face doesn't get stabbed in.
And a sold-out theater full of children and parents saw that.
Dude.
And
that's pretty metal.
I wasn't there, but I saw the video, and I spoke with the manager on duty. And he said he was just standing at the end of the hall, and just a group of like 200 parents just all came out at the same time, and rushed him right there at the door.
Yeah.
Probably happened in slow motion, like.
Yeah.
Like worst case scenario thing, man.
The worst was for the poor projectionist who did that. good friend of mine, Ryan W. I don't know if you're gonna be listening, but that's how he sounds. That's my guy.
Sounds like Morgan Freeman.
No, he doesn't sound like Morgan Freeman.
Oh.
You'd have to know. I don't know. You'd have to be there. So this episode, I decided we should make it a sort of a getting to know you.
Getting to know us,
right?
Yeah.
And since we started doing this, James and I, we went on a journey of public domain music.
A journey you don't have to pay for.
You don't have to pay for, and found insane different genres of music that I never knew even existed.
I think I figured out anything from like the 20s or earlier is just like guaranteed to be public domain.
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
it's all old.
But Memphis Jug Band, love it. And then Carson, you and I, we worked Sunday. We haven't gotten to work together very much, all of us. But Carson and I worked Sunday. We were listening to music as we sometimes do, and we were like, what speaks better to who a person is than what they like in music. So we decided we're gonna talk about our favorite music, and what was our favorite decade for music.
And this is other than public domain, which is now my new favorite genre.
Indeed, it has to be a genre. I mean, Jesus.
So I think Whistling Rufus has got to be my favorite song ever now.
Right, and then we'll give you a little list of some of our favorite songs from these decades.
All right. Well, who wants to
lead
it off?
Well, let's see. We can go. How about we go with James?
Okay, start me off.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Well, with my favorite decade for music, I went with the 1990s. And I know what you're thinking, like, Nirvana, grunge, pick James.
Right.
But, I think with any decade of music, you take the good with the bad. And I was less focused on the bad and more just focused on, do I have a lot of stuff that I like in that decade? And the 90s is chock full of shit that I like.
Right.
Yeah, man, a lot of great stuff.
I'm really, big into, rap and metal mostly now. It's like, I like some punk, although I don't think any of it made, my top 10 list.
Right.
I like it as a genre. I've heard people say, kind of died out in the 90s, but
I have said that.
Yeah, it's, but, I think it's like not that
Good
important.
Charlotte, I'm looking at you.
Yeah, like, okay, so that
killed punk.
But, I think you could poke a hole in any decade with, good Charlotte-esque comparisons. Right. So, no, I thought more of the top side of the decade, shit I really liked. And to me, like, the 90s are kind of the golden era of rap. You have, like, a lot more substance than you have nowadays, which is fine. I can be not so big of a lyricism guy at a lot of times, but I think for lyricism and for just being able to, like, say a lot in rhythm, the 90s was probably perfect for that. And also, a lot of the metal I liked honestly started probably in the late 80s, but a lot of these big bands like, Slayer and Anthrax, Metallica, Megadeth, they all were still really thriving in this decade. They just, they kind of had their big break in the mid to late 80s, and then they kind of were just carrying it on through the 90s.
But I said, they probably also made some of their best stuff in the 90s.
Yeah. Well, see, I was looking and I was like, a lot of shit I liked was like late 80s. And you know what? I doubled back through my list because I just kind of thought of it off the top of my head. And like, I think 7 out of 10 songs were from the late 80s. And I was like, really? Man, I could have sworn it's got that classic 90s sound.
Yeah, man, I had a few of those.
So, I went back through it and I tried to, at least Wikipedia when the songs came out and try to revise it so it's strictly 90s. Which, I don't care if you dig back into the later decades because I think I would have had a lot more gems, I think, if I was able to do that. But, I was like, nah, I'm gonna support my pick of the 90s having high upside and I'm gonna stick to all 90s songs. Should I guess I'll start from 10 and go to 1.
Do it, man.
All right. So at 10, I got "I Ain't Mad at You" by Tupac.
Okay.
See,
nice.
I'm gonna have a lot of rap on here because like I said, this is just kind of the golden era of rap. And if you don't like rap from the '90s, it's like you don't like rap.
Right.
You like rap, for what it is nowadays, which I can still enjoy, but it's at the same time like lyrically pretty dead. But yeah, I really like that song. I wanted to have at least one Tupac song on here. I put him at 10 because he's not like I'm not as big of a Tupac fan as a lot of other people, but figured he should at least make one song in my top 10, and that's probably my favorite song. It's got like cool little piano part, and Tupac just being super intense. So it's awesome. All right, 9. I went to Megadeth with this one. And,
there you go.
Hangar 18.
Okay, nice.
I think that's probably one of their radio hits, and I'm not like the biggest Megadeth fan on earth. So if you're a real Megadeth fan out there, you'd be like poser.
But
Holy
War.
Yeah, exactly. Like call me what you want. But no, I that's like one song where I could just like literally just like, oh dude, the solo in my head. I could go on for like 2 minutes and just fucking air guitar that shit out. And it's a great song. And I don't love a ton of Megadeth, but that song I really like. At 8, I got They Reminisce Over You, Pete Rock, and I believe CL Smooth. That one's that song.
We can't actually use the music.
Hey, that's my music at this point.
Right.
My acapella version. No, that song is just like kind of like, I honestly thought it could have been in the 80s, but like it made it in the 90s.
Right. It honestly sounded a little bit like some of the ragtime we've been listening to.
Yeah. And I don't know, it just kind of has like that crossover from like hip hop, like almost kind of a New Jack sound, but not really. But it's like that East Coast hip hop kind of upbeat song that I don't know, really just strikes a chord with me. Like, I don't know. I think it was because I watched Space Jam as a kid, and it had lots of like, like kind of like New Jacky kind of hip hop songs in it.
You guys love Space Jam.
I think I just watched that movie at the right age, so it's like super nostalgic for me now.
Right,
And I don't know. I always liked playing basketball and stuff, so it was just a great memory for me.
Right.
So yeah, at 7, I got Slayer.
Okay.
And I could have picked any Slayer song, but
you really could.
Luckily, Seasons of the Abyss was made in 1990, so that's one of their best albums. So I went with Skeletons of Society as my favorite song off that album. That one's just a slow builder, but it's fucking it gets you fucking pumped like no other. And I love South of Heaven. That's probably like my favorite Slayer album, but that was like 88, so something like that. So sorry, South of Heaven. You would have been all over this list. At 5, or wait, no, 6. Sorry, 6. Everybody knows Ice Cube. Today Was a Good Day. That song's the jam.
That is the jam.
I don't know how you don't enjoy that song. Like, you should be able to think of that song pretty easily.
Who said they don't enjoy that song?
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
Like, last night fucked around and got a triple-double. Come on. All right, so I'll try to speed it up a little bit. 5, I got
good, dude.
I got Snoop Dogg off of Doggy Style. I got the Shiznit. There was also a lot of songs I liked on that album. That was probably the one I liked the most. It's just this one and like I guess all the last song, this song, and the next song are all kind of that West Coast feel that I really like. Like the whole West Coast East Coast rivalry, I think was really awesome because they both like went in different directions, but they both like I feel like tried their asses off,
right?
To, like make it sound better than the other coast. So I would like to think I have a decent mix of both on here. So the next one is also a West Coast song, Eazy-E, Real Motherfucking G's. That one was like a Dr. Dre diss track when they like broke up NWA.
Right.
Yeah, man. That song goes hard.
Yeah, so Carson, you know that song. It's just like it's kind of a song that would fly now, minus like the West Coast like kind of like bird noise thing. It's like that kind of thing, that really high pitched sound. You don't really hear that anymore, but I feel like the drums and the bass probably would still fly nowadays. So it was kind of ahead of its time, and it's just a fucking great diss track. Diss tracks are always fun.
I want to be talking about Peter, Paul, and Mary. Back in the day.
And all right, I return.
All right.
That fella's dog, UPS guy, they don't get along.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Dude, it's just like classic cartoons, man.
Exactly. Exactly.
You've got mail.
Right. There's a box.
Tom Hanks.
we can't do 2 weeks of You've Got Mail.
Dude, I feel like we should reference You've Got Mail on the show at least every time.
Every time?
I actually don't know that one. I'm going to have to IMDb that one.
I mean, you don't have to.
It's just kind of a corny rom-com.
Right. I saw Sleepless in Seattle. That was bad.
Is it about AOL?
Yeah.
So it's not about AOL, but it's about
use
AOL for email to have an online relationship.
I want to fall in love with the emails.
Yeah. Everybody always falls in love with the emails.
Tell me when to go, Brian.
Go, man. I mean,
all right.
We're leaving that part in. I'm going to do some editing.
Okay.
We're going to take out the dog bark and the UPS guy, all that, but yeah.
All right. So, yeah, after some dog barking difficulties, we are back. So I just said Real Motherfucking G's at 4 by Easy. Real Motherfucking G's.
Great way.
Of course,
because I'm so gangster. All right. 3, I got Wu-Tang. Can It Be All So Simple?
Nice.
That song is one of the best samples I think I ever heard. Like, in my opinion, it's just like so soothing, but like also something you can nod your head to. And,
right.
Samples in instrumentals is still a huge thing today. So Wu-Tang got on that train way before everyone else, or at least they did it better. They did it really well at a very early stage in its development. Okay, number 2, I got Biggie, The Warning.
Nice.
For someone who isn't great with lyrics, like I find any song that I know most of the lyrics to be a huge honor. So, Biggie
for like
Smalls.
A second there, I thought you were talking about Biggie Smalls not being good with lyrics, and I was like, "Oh, I thought he was known."
No. If anything, I would say that he speaks really clearly and he enunciates really well, and he has easier lyrics to follow than a lot of other rappers. I think it's just like the pace he goes at. It's like manageable, and like he says every word very clearly. So after listening to the song, you don't have to look up the lyrics. Like you'll figure it out.
Right.
I hate when people look up the lyrics. I'm just like, man, you should just hear it.
Right.
I hate having to look up the lyrics, I guess. So yeah, The Warning, Biggie Smalls. That's my number 2. And finally, number 1, got to go with my man Nas, Illmatic, one of the probably greatest rap albums of all time. And if I had to pick my favorite song off of it, I would go with The World Is Yours.
Nice.
I know a lot of people would say, New York State of Mind or Halftime. Those should be, the top songs on there. But I want to pick something different because, those I've listened to a bajillion times. And The World Is Yours just kind of puts me in a mood, man. Like, it's like a fucking morning drive and the sun's out and I'm like getting hyped up for the day. Like, I listen to that song. It's like, whose world is this? It's mine, it's mine, it's mine. That just, I don't know, man. And then Nas is just, one of a kind, man. He's like, in my opinion, one of the like top 3 rappers of all time. So
yeah, man, that's definitely one of the best albums of all time.
So that, that song had to be my number 1. And like I said, any song off that album probably could have made it. But I wanted to pick some, I didn't want to pick songs from the same albums and not, cover a lot of ground. So I wanted a breadth of options instead of just, honing in on a bunch of songs from one album. Right. But yeah, that's my case for the 90s being my favorite and hopefully your favorite.
That was excellent, sir, and great picks indeed.
Yeah, it was a little rap heavy, but
it's
There's
fine.
A lot of great rap.
That's what I'm down with.
I can't believe the Spin Doctors didn't make it. To the list. Carsoni, please illuminate us of your musical knowledge.
Okay, well, I chose a decade that not everybody's. Well, okay, it's the 1740s. And I'll tell you why.
Do it.
Now, there was a lot of good colonial. Okay, well, I actually did the 1960s.
Dude, I'm not even joking. Hold on. Before we move on, I was literally going to play almost that same exact joke.
Oh, man, I'm so sorry.
No, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
Just
you
cut
know
mine
that
out.
shit slaps.
Got mine out and then just do
No.
yours. We'll pretend
No,
like
absolutely not. I was just going to say I picked the 70s, the 17s.
1770s. Oh, God.
Well,
Go on,
get
Seth.
to it, man. I'm
The
sorry.
year 70 AD.
No, man, great
I
mind.
mean, partly because of the 1960s was a pretty big time in music. I think as far as the way it influenced everybody, as far as like the public, and mainly because of Bob Dylan. For me, one of my
There you
favorite
go.
artists. You got the first two Led Zeppelin albums in the 1960s.
This is true.
I mean, Jimi Hendrix, man. I got some. What do we have on here? Louis Armstrong had some good stuff coming out, man.
Gotta love Jimmy and Louie.
Miles
Psychedelic
Davis, man.
Of course.
Hey.
So let's see what I have. I don't know. I would say Bob Dylan is one of my favorite artists of all time, so he's got to make the list.
Well,
Songs list.
So I don't listen to a lot
when your
of
hair gets to the right length, you are a tall Bob Dylan.
Getting there again.
So Bob Dylan does like folksy kind of music. Like I'm totally unhip. Like
Yeah, I mean, he was more of like a strictly folk singer in the early to mid '60s, and then he went electric in like '66.
It's like sure I've heard of Bob Dylan, but like I can't say like I know any songs.
Yeah, he's
Top of my head.
singer-songwriter type. Just writes. I would say he used to write more protest songs than he does, but he never claimed that he was a protest songwriter. But yeah, a lot of those Vietnam protest songs and everything around then. So he had a lot of music influencing.
Make love, not war, man.
Yeah, exactly. You get, Woodstock '69.
True.
The Beatles, man. So much that came up with the Beatles.
How could we forget?
So I feel like so much of what we listen to today is obviously influenced from music from the '60s. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really have top 10 songs in order.
Man, it doesn't need to be in order.
Yeah, just start pitching songs, man.
Okay.
That make your top 10.
Dazed and Confused is a pretty great song, man.
It is a pretty great.
Led Zeppelin's first album. They had a lot of bangers on pretty much every album, but
one of my favorite bands of all time.
Indeed.
Yeah, you guys are the big Zeppelin guys, man. I'm like the whole '60s, man. I'm just like I knew Jimi Hendrix, couple Louis Armstrong songs, but like yeah, I'm totally just not fucking educated on Zeppelin, Bob Dylan, etc.
Some of the best music in the world.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's like a taste thing at this point, but it's like I can't hate. Definitely, like I'm aware that they're some of the legends of rock, so to speak.
Yeah, man. I mean, a lot of the stuff you kids like today wouldn't be around if it weren't for these folks in the 50s, 60s, 70s.
That was the Gucci Mane of their time.
It starts with like the blues music from even earlier than that, from 100 years and so forth. Robert Johnson and whatnot. But yeah, most of my stuff I'd say is from the late '60s. You got A Day in the Life off Sgt. Pepper's. Pretty
my
awesome
favorite
song.
Beatles song ever.
Dude, there you go, man. So
yeah,
I mean that song was pretty groundbreaking for its time, and even for today, it would still be a groundbreaking song. I feel like.
Yeah.
Put Purple Haze on there. Shout out Jimmy.
There you
Purple
go.
Haze. I know that one.
27 members, man.
Yeah, man.
We talked about that earlier.
I like Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix is the man, dude.
Yeah, man.
Gone too soon.
Yeah, well, too soon. A long time ago. He probably would have been old by now.
Right.
Yeah, man. I mean,
let's just jump into the alternate reality where we just pretend Jimi Hendrix lived a long, full life and died of old age.
Beautiful.
Old age.
Yeah, but we don't have all the music that we would have had.
He gave up on it on his own choice. He wanted to.
But it was, he put out a bomb.
He wanted to be a tax attorney or something. I don't know.
I have the song "In a Sentimental Mood" by John Coltrane and Duke Ellington, 1963.
Okay.
I know. John Coltrane was a beast.
Yeah, he put out a lot of
Duke
great
Ellington
stuff.
was a beast.
Duke Ellington. I'm not as familiar with him, but I guess I gotta check him out because I do like some jazz. I just don't know a lot of
Duke
jazz.
Ellington without that swing.
Okay.
And he's
True.
I'm
Tribe
pretty
reference.
sure
Tribe Called Quest reference.
Yeah, man. Bring it back to the 90s.
I'm pretty sure he's from DC, isn't he?
True.
Possibly. I know Wale's from DC.
Well, I you know what? I want to actually remember to look up Duke Ellington because like I would be interested in what he's got.
Oh my God, Symphony in Blue.
Oh yeah, you've heard a lot of his stuff for sure.
It's like, no offense, but I've had plenty of opportunity to listen to like Led Zeppelin and you know,
Yeah.
it's like I fucks with jazz. Like I don't like Zeppelin would be like a genre hop for me in a sense.
Yeah.
But like
I don't know, man. Get into it someday.
Yeah.
Just listen to a couple.
No, I know some songs. You know, like what's it, Black Dog? I know that one.
Yeah.
You know, it's a grooving, rocking good time. Just like, you know, the fan songs, like knowing like XYZ off an album, you know, stuff like that.
So let's see what else I have on here.
Carson.
Folsom Prison Blues, Johnny Cash, 1968.
I
feel like that's just an iconic song. I heard that song at a pretty young age, and you know,
any Johnny Cash
live
would have been good.
To the actual prison inmates.
Right.
Pretty cool
remember.
thing to do, man.
Saw that on the VH1 many years ago.
The Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin.
I saw him do that song.
Yeah, man. Walk the line.
Yeah.
Let's see what else I have on here. Finishing off the list, got a couple of Bob Dylan tracks. Like a Rolling Stone.
Of course.
From the album Highway 61 Revisited, which might be my all-time favorite album. And then Visions of Johanna from 1966, Blonde on Blonde, which is also considered one of the best albums ever made. So, yeah, a lot of Beatles, Bob Dylan, you know, Coltrane.
Like I said, it's kind of hard to, you know, when you're like, pick your favorite decade and pick 10 songs. It's difficult.
It's a really tough question, for sure. You have to leave so much music out.
I put on here for honorable mentions. I have Otis Redding, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay.
There you go.
Yeah, I like Otis.
And Hello Dolly by Louis Armstrong.
Hello.
So anything else you guys want to add to the 60s lore?
Oh, man, as far as Bob Dylan, holy cow. A Hard Rain's Gonna Fall.
Yes.
One Too Many Mornings.
Dude, One Too Many Mornings is actually Steve Jobs' favorite song, or it was.
Is it?
Was.
Remember him saying that in an interview.
I would say Mr. Tambourine Man, sung by William Shatner.
Yeah, that really
sang.
Oh, my Lord, yes, he sang. He basically spoke the song.
That's what I'm saying.
But he also screamed the song. So
okay, fair.
No, he really put himself, you know, put some power behind it. So I guess this means it's my turn.
Ryan, you're up, man.
Guys,
this is your topic, man. You got to crush it.
I went with the 70s. I had to go with the 1970s. It is the most influential decade for me as far as music goes. And you know, I like what I like. So it's gonna be a lot of, you know, radio hits.
Yay, man.
People are gonna be like, he doesn't know nothing about music.
I got plenty of those on my list, man.
I likes what I likes, man.
That's how it should be. This is what this whole segment's about, man.
Right.
What does Brian like?
I felt the 70s had the most going on with different genres of music. Like a lot more genres were opening up. A lot more people were listening to more music. The whole entire industry changed in the 70s. Like I said to James yesterday, I said, you know, I guess the Beatles started it with Shea Stadium, but more bands were playing in like two huge stadiums. You know, if we're talking like after like Woodstock, you know, two huge crowds. And that, you know, really took off in the 70s. Record labels, you know, became huge, and who you were playing for and, you know, who was managing you and all that good stuff.
And media just got better. Like,
right.
You could just, you know, be on more TVs and more households, you know, play on nicer equipment.
Right.
You know, and be broadcast on nicer equipment.
And obviously, like, what Carson said, you know, it started, you know, 100 years ago with like blues in the Deep South and stuff like that. But as far as like music recording as a business, 30s to the 60s, it was like is just selling the song to radio stations and then all that stuff. And then in the 70s, it just blew up. Everybody had, their record players and 8 tracks, and you had tape decks coming out and all that sort of stuff. And music became this giant industry that I think it is today. So 70s, man.
I can see that.
I mean, Rush, a band who shows up on my list of sorts.
Shout out to Canada.
Spirit of Radio, Limelight speaks to these things. So, oh shoot, on my notes I still have 1770s, W.A. Mozart, Steve Boccherini, and Joseph Haydn. So here goes my list. At number 10, I have Just My Imagination by the Temptations.
Temptations.
Yeah, still late into the 60s, and mid 60s on, and well into the 70s. These guys are still relevant, and this is one of my favorite songs ever. It's just, sit back in a hammock and listen to this song.
So if you guys didn't know already, Brian is pretty cool.
My wife calls them my older black gentleman music. Let's see. At number 9, Whole Lotta Rosie, AC/DC.
Okay.
Right? Okay.
Covering all your bases here.
Well, you can also mix in or throw in Fat Bottom Girls there by Queen, because in the 70s, they like curvy ladies.
Who doesn't?
I love curvy ladies. Okay. Anyway, Peaceful Easy Feeling, the Eagles.
Okay.
I
don't know a lot of the Eagles. I'm just that noob who knows Hotel California,
Exactly.
man.
Hotel California, and that's it.
Hotel California.
Take it to the limit.
Is that them? I don't know.
Yeah, that's the Eagles.
Not
Take it to the limit.
Not the
80s.
To the limit.
The
That
80s song.
Push
it to the limit.
Yeah, that is not the Eagles.
That is totally what I just thought.
Different.
Push it to the limit.
Different song, man.
That's the point of no return.
And then to touch on the punk, Judy is a Punk, my favorite Ramones song.
Nice.
Also a great song and a great movie and a great soundtrack. Royal Tenenbaums. Carson and I were having a little talk about that.
Yeah, we were reminiscing about that scene with Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yes, sir.
They have a Ramones song in it?
Well, it's a great soundtrack and a really great movie. And Judy is a
one of my
Punk.
favorite soundtracks, man. In any movie.
I like the Ramones for sure.
That was awesome.
I could probably play all their songs on guitar myself, but
but I got Stir It Up, Bob Marley.
Hey, Brian, you stoner.
Say, sure. You call me out in public like this.
Hey, man, he likes Bob Marley. What else do you expect?
Hey, man.
It's like the most Bob thing ever.
Bob Marley was a tough one. No Woman, No Cry. Although, I who was I talking to about this? The Fugees cover of No Woman, No Cry is probably my favorite version of that song. Okay. Going to California, Led Zeppelin.
Nice. Dude, I actually did a school report about that song. We had to bring in a song that meant something to us, I guess.
Right.
And
what's the most metal song ever, kids?
Back in, I guess it was high school or middle school or something. But yeah, Going to California is a jam, dude.
It is. It's hard to say if it's my favorite Zeppelin song because at number 1 is my favorite Zeppelin song.
Okay, we'll get to that.
But it's hard to pick a favorite Zeppelin song. Tangerine was one for a very long time. I love that song. Boom. Foreplay, Long Time, Boston.
Nice.
A song that sounds like the 70s. As far as 70s classic rock goes, it sounds like the 70s to me. Don't Stop Me Now by Queen.
Because I'm having a good time.
And anytime I'm listening in the car, I always put on a shuffle. Anytime Don't Stop Me Now, I go ham.
That's your karaoke song?
All the way. I would never karaoke because anxiety, but
Oh, man, you're on the mic right now, man.
Yeah, but no one can see me. No one can see me. That's the thing. It's when the eyeballs are upon you.
Well, that's why they do it at bars, man, so you get drunk enough to care.
Right. Although I've been to a bar during karaoke night, and I was never like, you know what? I'm going to get up there. I'm going to do some Frank.
Yeah, I did once because like all my friends started bugging me too, and I was like, there's like not a lot of people here. Fuck it. And it's like no one really cares. Actually, they usually like edit the audio to where like they make you sound a lot better than you really do. I don't know what they do, but they like tighten up your voice so it's like doesn't come out as shitty.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's like a half step to auto tune, sort of, but not really.
Whoever was running the karaoke at this particular bar did not have that. I can tell you that much. I can tell you that much. At number 2, Judy Blue Eyes, Crosby, Stills and Nash.
Another Judy.
Wow.
Technically, 1969.
Ooh. I'm deducting points for that one. No.
Well, it's like I said, it's a bridge year. 1969, 1980, those are bridge years for any decade.
I'm just kidding.
But still had a feeling of that hippie movement right before the 70s hit, and well, the modern world we live in today started. Honorable mentions before I get to number 1.
Ooh, got some honorable mentions. That's how you know he cares, folks.
Right, which I wrote too many to count because there's no way you can touch on all the bands that you love.
Start shooting, man. Let's hear them.
Spirit of Radio, Rush. That was 1980, however. But as I said, caveat. Suspicious Minds by Elvis Presley. 1969.
Elvis, man, the king.
Because late into the 60s, this guy who started back in the 50s, still around, still knocking it out of the pack.
Yeah.
And then Against the Wind, Bob Seger, 1980. It was one of my favorite songs. But at number 1, and this should come as this should come as zero shock, is Stairway to Heaven. Led Zeppelin, and of course the best recording of it is the BBC Sessions, Stairway to Heaven. That is the best guitar solo.
So what's the BBC Sessions?
BBC Sessions, they
school me for a second.
They'd get bands in there, and play live. So they did a live session with Led Zeppelin, and
that's amazing.
Jimmy Page just did the best guitar solo ever in that particular recording. It's not the normal
Stairway to Heaven solo. Or is it just
there's always it seems like there's always variation. He's definitely always putting in some variation. So it was my favorite version of it.
Okay.
It's not the same one you'd hear necessarily on the radio.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And that didn't even get released until like the 90s or something.
And what I've noticed is that sometimes I like live performances, like if they play it a little fast or a little slow, and I start listening to live performances more, I get used to the timing of that, and I'll go back to the studio version and be like, yo, that sounds slow. That sounds fast. Like, because you like the live version so much better. I had that with Decade of Aggression. That was like Slayer's like live album, and basically they just played a bunch of their songs live at I don't know what concert. But I got used to the timing of their songs on that album, and every time I listened to their studio album, I was like, "This sounds slow." Like,
a great group live is Milli Vanilli. They're always perfect.
Milli Vanilli.
Gosh darn it! Gosh, I just showed my age all over the place. So Milli Vanilli, they got caught up because. It wasn't the two guys singing. It was, I guess, another guy or another two guys. And so they were always lip syncing, and it wasn't even them singing, and they were getting all the accolades and all that shit. Damn. Blame it on the rain. No?
I don't know that one.
Yeah. No. Okay.
Milli Vanilli sounds cool, though.
Well, it does sound cool.
Might get that as an ice cream flavor.
God. All right, so that's me, guys.
That's all of us.
That's all of us.
Send us your votes at 212-555.
Absolutely. I had some.
Text Carson to 3434.
Oh, hello, Carson.
Text.
Oh, he sounds like such a nice young man.
If you liked Brian's pick, text Brian to 54362.
I mean, don't. Don't.
If you like James's, no.
Man. But dude, yeah, it was so hard. I wanted to like put some soul, some R&B in there. Curtis Mayfield.
I left out a ton of shit. It's fine. You know, you just gotta, get the world a quick clip into what you're into, because that is a tough question.
Yeah.
It's so much, it's hard to just like 10 songs and be like, that's my 10 favorite songs. Like,
right.
I
also just don't want people to think that he's only into classic rock, because
there's no correct way to do it.
Right.
You just got to do it the wrong way.
Oh, and so James, you were watching some TV.
Oh yeah, dude.
Here's the thing: when you brought this up, I had no idea that this channel actually exists. I thought it was just in the movie.
Dude,
but I guess
you guys should totally turn it on right now, because I'm literally watching.
I don't have.
It's on ESPN2, right?
Okay.
And they're doing ESPN8 The Ocho. Like, they're doing like all weird sports. And what I'm watching right now is the Eurotram competitions. And I shit you not, they are having competitions with these urban like rail trains, these trams.
Okay.
In like how accurately they can park it going at a certain speed. And then they set up a ball in front of it, and they're like hitting the ball, and it's like bowling. There's like pins, and they have to like hit it with this fucking tram, this thing you use to literally go through the city. And these like competitive drivers are like whacking into this ball and trying to, bowl.
But why?
To see who's the best. I don't know. They had competitive fucking Golden Tee golf, which is like the bar golf game with the spinning wheel.
Yeah.
That was literally on. It was like, oh, who's gonna get this $3,000 prize?
Yeah, I just put it on, man.
Oh my god,
$3,000?
Dude, it is.
I'd take $3,000.
Yeah, it's the bar game, the you spin the wheel and it like plays golf or whatever, and everyone writes all the obscene high scores on it. That's literally like they're playing it competitively with uniforms on television for money. It just is blowing my mind. Shout out to the Ocho. Rest in peace, Rip Torn. Shout out to Dodgeball.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
You can create ESPN8 The Ocho. Although I'm upset Jason Bateman's not on it.
Of course. Well, I mean, he's such a busy man.
So, he's not too busy for the Ocho.
Also, hey guys, update. I don't know if you guys heard this, and I don't know if people are still coming here for the news on this, but the page for the raid Area 51, the thing that I think almost 4 million people said they were going to go do, was taken down by Facebook.
Wow.
Yeah, it was one of those, goes against our policies.
I remember watching that one video of Mark Zuckerberg like in front of Congress.
Yeah.
And like just all the gifs and memes that came out like just like about like how like horribly like nervous he looked, or just like robotic as well.
Right.
Like, and it's just like, man, they probably scare the fuck out of Zuckerberg with that shit. They're just like, oh, if someone raids Area 51 because your stupid fucking app or website, I'm gonna fucking lock you up so long, fucking ship you to Guantanamo. I don't know, but
well, of course, you've seen the memes where he's. I saw one where it was the same picture of him in front of Congress, except someone fucked around with his head and made him look like an alien.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want them to get to my father, or whatever. Nerd. So yeah, but I guess someone's gonna try and carry the torch on, or whatever the saying is, and hopefully September 20th we'll know if aliens are real.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's not gonna be 4 million. It's gonna be.
Yeah, I would be surprised that anybody would even go.
Man, people are gonna go. Someone's gonna go, and people are gonna get arrested. That's gonna happen.
At most, I would say 100 people show up.
Yeah, you know, maybe more. You know,
no.
I think you underestimate the crazy that is human beings.
Yeah, you might be right, man.
Nah, dude,
People are willing to do some pretty insane shit.
That's a new type of crazy right there.
I say out of 4 million people, there's got to be at least 1,000 out there who've already marked off on their calendar at work. I'm taking off to do this. They
storm Area 51.
Yeah, and they're all gonna be arrested, and the aliens are just gonna keep it hidden from us.
Yeah, what are they doing in there?
Right?
Just chilling out with the aliens.
Depressing. I was watching the movie Paul because because in that movie Simon Pegg and God damn it,
the other guy.
Why is it Ed? Damn it. I'm gonna feel terrible that I don't have his name, but them doing that little thing, that little road trip to all the Southwest UFO spots. I want to do that. So I was watching that, and I was like, God, I hope all the aliens are like Paul. That'd be awesome. But then Paul is Seth Rogen. I don't know if that's possible.
Oh man. Is the other guy Nick Frost?
Nick Frost. God damn it! I kept wanting to say Edgar Wright, but he's of course not. He is their friend and writer director.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Nick Frost. I'm sorry, Nick Frost. You're
That's
great.
Okay.
You're great in everything you do.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome, Nick Frost.
That didn't sound nearly British enough.
Yeah, he's not British as you think. You know.
Is he faking it?
He was raised in the Mid-Atlantic. He was raised in the Mid-Atlantic of
Mid-Atlantic London.
No. You know, no, U.S.
Okay.
Like from London.
Bloody Manchester.
Damp on the shore. Anyway. Phil comes in, right, strums out a tune, yeah, and I says, that's a #1 record.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Futurama. Anyway, so we're over an hour, guys.
Yeah, man. We're doing so well, man.
Dude.
And I think we just about got everyone to storm Area 51.
Yeah. I mean,
suckers.
You gotta keep it alive, guys. We're not going. We're not going because we have we think with logic.
Rational human beings.
Rational human beings, and you know, I probably got work.
Yeah.
Honestly, but yeah. Oh, wait, actually, we won't see Carson next week. Although we might see Carson.
I might make a last-minute appearance.
Carson, where are you going, buddy?
I'm actually heading to South Carolina.
South Carolina?
Charleston.
Carolina.
Charlestown.
Charlestown.
Ooh, man.
A beautiful southern city.
How are the many colored buildings?
Oh yeah, Rainbow Row. You know.
Rainbow Row.
Stuff, man.
Is it row or road like Mario Kart?
Row, like is there like a row of houses?
So is that where Mario Kart gets it from?
That is actually. Yeah, they came.
Okay.
Wow.
So I like pretty much was like born with like an N64 in my hand, so I definitely knew Rainbow Road first.
Nice. I was born with an Apple II computer keyboard.
Hey, yeah.
Cool. Those were the before times.
The before times, yeah. It's like thinking about it, like man, I get to at least be born into a world with 3D gaming.
Exactly.
And I never had to like only have to choose from like 2D side scrollers. Like I had options. Although I was jealous of the people who had like NESs and Super Nintendos and stuff because like,
I had an NES and I saved up the $105 to buy it, and I honestly don't know how I saved up that much money because I was like 8 or 9 years old.
Damn.
I think I was like 8.
Mowed a lot of lawns.
I didn't do shit. As far as I remember, I didn't do anything. I think I had a birthday. I think I had some Christmas. I think I saved up. I think I saved up, like I got an allowance, but I don't know how I got $105 at 8 years old.
You stole it.
I can barely save $105 now, guys.
You sold the drugs now.
Well, I snort it. That was in high school. That was in high school. That's where I sold the drugs. Was high school.
Oh, yeah. That's a topic for another day.
That's where the kids want them. Anyway. So maybe Carson next week. If Carson next week, Harrison will be here again.
Harrison.
And
we're gonna make sure he at least uses a computer.
Yeah, or straps his phone to his face.
Yeah.
You know, I like I said, I taped this microphone because it doesn't have a clip, but I taped it, and I look like I'm about to like I said, go into like a high stakes negotiation sort of thing for the FBI, and wearing a wire. But it's cool.
He's wearing a wire.
It's cool, and I think people can hear me pretty good. And also next week, I think maybe James, our friend Jimmy.
Hey,
I'm gonna try and get him on next week.
Yeah, man. I heard he knows this guy named Barry Tremendous, man. He's the hottest dude around town right now.
Yeah, if you listen to this, man, I don't know what it's. I see his stuff on the Facebooks, the Public Access and Chill, Butt Stuff with Jimmy Blair.
All the hits. All the hits.
And then Barry Tremendous on Instagram. And he teaches you how to stay fit, fit, and have fun in the summertime.
You can all use a little bit of that.
Right.
While the summer's still going, y'all.
I'll throw his video up on our pages.
Yeah,
page, so the people can see it.
Ryan's a social media conductor, man.
Yeah.
You won't find me doing shit on Facebook. So I gave up on it.
Indeed. Indeed.
As soon as they made my grandma a Facebook, I was out.
I don't know. As soon as my mom made her 5th Facebook,
oof,
I thought she should be out. Every time she gets a new phone, she can't remember her password, and it's too hard to explain how to get your password to her. So she just starts a new Facebook account. So she's had like 5.
Damn.
I'm sure she's not the only one.
She had to do that 4 times before making that 5th one. Like, here I go again.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
That's rough.
This one doesn't even have a profile picture. You know. You just
fuck it, right?
Yeah, man.
Facial recognition and shit.
Indeed.
You're on someone's data banks, man.
Well, we all are. We're all screwed.
They got your face. And when I was setting up these microphones, I went on Windows to try to set up the microphone, and it was like, hey, do you want to set up your voice on the computer so you can make voice commands with it? And I was like, I don't know about all that.
I don't think so.
I don't use my laptop enough to be like, hey, laptop, do this.
Right.
I think I'll just open it and hit the power button. Thanks.
Why not? Like in the old days.
Like I think these computer companies are just flexing their muscles and like, hey, look, we got voice recognition down. But I don't like using it. I think a lot of people do. I've seen
My mom's
people
always using it, man.
I've seen people at work, like, they'll like literally like speak a text message into their phone, and I don't know if you guys have done that
all the time, and it's so annoying. I don't want to hear what you're saying to these people.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I couldn't get used to that because I just don't trust it to be accurate. Like as soon as it gets it wrong, I would feel inconvenienced by it.
Oh yeah, no, it gets it wrong like most of the time. At least when my mom texts me.
I mostly don't care that, companies and the government's taking my data. Like, it's in a giant ocean of data. Like, I can take some comfort in that. But, it's like, I don't like the sound of people recording my voice and storing that. Or storing my face.
James, I got bad news for you, man.
Huh.
I am recording and I am saving your voice. Oh my god.
Yeah, I know, man. I know. I didn't say, I can't live with it, but it's, I don't love it. That's for sure.
Yeah. No,
it's out there though.
Yeah, I think that's just where the future is heading,
Yeah.
There's going to be enough memory to store everyone's voice 10 times over.
Well, with that, I'm going to say check us out on SoundCloud, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, and we also have an Instagram.
Hey.
And to be honest with you,
_week_of.
There you go. And pretty much everything else is the week of or the week of pod, except for Twitter, which for some reason I think is the week of pod 2. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah,
I'm actually not good with the social media.
Hey man, if you just post our links on social media, Brian, I think that'll be good.
I tell you what, search us on the YouTubes. All those links are there.
Yeah. We'll have them
Does it
front
all
and
for
center.
me. Does it all for me.
Accessibility.
Exactly. Okay, so get at it.
Yeah, we want to come to you, people.
Like and subscribe, guys.
Yeah, subscribe, and comment until we're famous.
And then we'll be next. We'll be here next week on the week of.
The week of.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye.
Nobody knows how dry